Our review of Picard Episode 2 starts after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and I have to say that this was an episode full of unexpected events. We start out at the end of the last episode where the Shrike is attacking the Titan, and the captain orders it into a nebula so that it can get lost, because they know that sensors will become useless and tactical can't work, and most likely if they even have visual contact, the weapons won't lock. So they go into the nebula, and while it is a rather unusual nebula that is kind of pulling them in, they find that they can't seem to hide. And everything that we thought we knew about whether they could be tracked or not is wrong. And even they are confused by this. And they're taking a pummeling. It injures the captain, who then has to hand command over to Riker as he's on his way to sickbay. He said, "You got us into this, you get us out." I liked the line. We have Jack and Beverly helping out in sickbay because of the number of casualties, and Beverly kind of at odds with the chief medical officer on the ship, who knows that they were having a nice little ride until they had to go and rescue her, and then all hell broke loose. This is the situation that the whole crew is between Beverly and Jack, and probably blaming Picard for it as well. Riker advises Jack that he needs to do something to get the goodwill of this crew on him, or there's going to be a price to pay. And Jack takes that to heart. Picard, not so much. He's still used to being in charge, even though Riker has very ably taken the captain's chair and has had harsh words with Picard. "You don't know what you're doing, I do." Not those words exactly, but certainly that was the intent of the exchanges. It does not look like the rift that has been drawn between Riker and Picard would settle itself easily. Meantime, in the B story, we have Wharf and Rafi. They're now back on the La Sirena, and Wharf introduces himself, son of Mog and son of David Roshenko, and his whole titles, defeater of Gowron, things like this, and then says, "Would you like tea?" It reminds me of the episode where they go to this planet and they're seated in a living room, and Worf and the captain are having tea with these people, and Worf is kind of choking on the gentlemanly manners, and they say, "Are you all right, Mr. Worf?" And he says, "Good tea," looks around, "nice house." I think it was one of the best lines that he ever spoke. Worf is one of my favorite characters, and he plays it very well here. He, of course, has aged like everybody else has, but his transformation from what he was, which was essentially a hothead, has now come to something that resembles more a samurai, and someone who has a great deal more discipline than he did before. I really like his new character. By the same token, I'm kind of disappointed in Picard. He's not really, and people have said this before, he is not the captain he was on the Enterprise. He's the captain that he was in First Contact. And I think that perhaps that's a problem in this whole thing. He's supposed to be the grand diplomat, and he's doing anything but making any friends here, even with the people he's fairly close with. There's an exchange with Beverly on why she didn't tell him about the kid. It was pretty much the same speech that Carol Marcus gave to Jim Kirk. Were you going to be with me? Were we going to be together? Was he going to have this same life where he shot out all the time? No. I would have it better for him. And ironically, he's gotten right into it anyway. Just because he is Picard. They did explain his English accent. He was educated in London, and the accent just kind of stuck. She said, maybe it's genetic. I thought that was a funny line. Riker had some good lines too. I will not spoil any of those for you if you haven't seen the show yet, but I think that there was less humor in this, more suspense, more edge of your seat type of action, because this ship was outgunned and outmaneuvered, it seems, and perhaps even out-strategized. Now, part of it is because of a saboteur on board, and that gives something for Seven of Nine to do. And teaming up with Jack. That's kind of an interesting angle that they have there. I don't see how anybody gets redeemed from all of this, because everybody's in big trouble, it seems, except for perhaps Captain Shaw. And he would have a perfect right, once they get back to wherever they come from, to have a whole mess of these people thrown in jail, if jail still exists in the 25th century. So that's my thoughts on Picard. I don't notice it being as dark as it was before. And that's good. I'm kind of tired of all of these, they build these elaborate sets, then they turn off all the lights, so you can't really see anything about them. But it makes me kind of wonder where it's going next. I suspect that now with Wharf and Rafi are teaming together to find out why this weapon was stolen from the Daystrom Institute, and the idea that it might not have even been what they were going after, but rather something that would be a red herring for them to chase, while the real problem has yet to be revealed. So we have a lot to learn on this show, and a lot to see. We know that our heroes will get out of this, but it'll be interesting to see just in what way they do it. They seem to be in bad shape by the end of this episode. So we look forward to the next one. Hope you do too. I also look forward to your becoming a subscriber. It doesn't cost anything. It's no obligation, but it does help us in the YouTube stuff to get us more recommended to other people, and we always want to have a bigger channel. So please do so, and thank you very much for being with us, and until next time, don't go far.